Welcome to BCB Live for the safest station in the nation. We got into a little discussion, Drive Safe Dave, on Jesus. And you know what? When we talk Jesus, he runs. You know what? I felt like I threw some water on him. He's like, ah, it stings! It stings!
Unfortunately, we can't all be as blessed as Sir Rick when it comes to. But
you know what?
I don't get it.
I do think that there are those that are blessed, those that aren't blessed. But I asked a simple question, and once again, Drive said even off air, he can't give his opinion.
No, I can. I'm just tired of getting criticized for my own opinion in this room. Normally, when we share opinions and we discuss them, they're okay, and it comes out as more of a dialogue. Do you understand what? This is not a podium in which you stand on in a conversation.
But to dialogue, you know, some of these things, sometimes they're called debates, sir.
Is that what we're having? Because I thought it was dialogue.
And it was question. You know, the simple question was this. You know what? Assuming you believe and you're going to go to heaven.
I guess I need to come in with my...
When we get to that land up there, in promised land, you know, are there certain levels? Will, you know, am I going to be a little higher than Drive Safety? Am I going to have the big house and maybe you have the small house? We're not going to church anymore. I'm just asking a question. Producer, you're a churchgoer. A God-fearing young man. What are your thoughts on that? When we get there, are we all equal? Are we all mowing the lawn together? Or what's going on up there?
Personally, I don't really know.
Wow.
I think we would all be. I mean, then again, I don't know,
Rick. If you can buy your way in, you go right ahead. If that's what you're trying to do. Rick's trying to buy his way in again. I don't know. I'm pretty sure.
That is so. You know what? Here you go, throwing.
No, I'm just saying.
On people. Dude,
you can't step on people to get to heaven. That's what you can't do. That's not how you get there. You get there, right? That is not.
All right. So listen. So I went to church yesterday, and I was talking to the guys. You know what? I went to church yesterday.
Come on.
Again. And the verse that we were going over, and again, I'm the least Bible verse guy, you know, because that has to do with history. Not a big fan of all that stuff. Don't do real well with that. I hope there's not like a quiz when you get up to heaven, you know, on anything.
Check a box.
Yeah. Multiple choice.
I hope it's multiple choice.
All of the above, you know, but it said least in the kingdom of heaven. And made me think, Dave, that, you know what, there must be some kind of, you know,
hierarchy.
There was some kind of hierarchy if you could be least. But I also was this. I was like, you know what? As long as I get in that place, I'll take the least all day because it's probably better than just being the best of the worst.
It's better than standing outside. It's better than standing outside the gate knocking.
So then I thought that, and I was like, all right. Wonder what the minimum amount to do is to be in the least. And I'm like, you know what?
What's the minimum requirement? I need to know what is the minimum requirement. I'm not trying to aim too high. Wow.
Oh, wow. But welcome to BCB Live. You know, we're the safest station in the nation. We practice it. We talk it. We're excited, legitimately excited to talk about safety, about saving lives, and Dave, it crosses over into everything, not just, you know, what we look like here with the, you know, being seen and all of that, but also has to do with understanding the signs. And Dave, you started off today with the little loose goose gravel. What, you know, talk to me. When are you going to see that?
Caution, loose gravel ahead. It can create a slippery and dangerous environment, whether you turn or how you stop. You need to be aware of that. You need to be aware of the road surface and how it changes. This is just another warning signing of a road surface changing, and you need to adjust your driving to that road condition. So, I mean, it's good to know. I mean, whether it be inclement weather, and then here's one that's not inclement weather. Here is a man-made problem. It's loose gravel out on the road for construction. The vehicle won't stop as quickly, won't turn or be effective on the road as quickly. It can also kick up rocks and stuff out there on the road and hit windshields and stuff. So slowing down, creating distance, creating space, you know, that seems to be a fundamental key whenever we find an adverse situation out there on the road. And that's what I'm just trying to bring to light, that you'll find adverse situations out there, and some of them will be natural, some will be man-made.
Hey, we want to remind you, hey, we just went live to TikTok, BCB Live. We're going to start doing a few posts on there. We did our first post yesterday, and we're going to try to put 2 or 3 up there a day, showing videos, having fun, but also having some serious moments. Drive, I'm excited as we bring in some of these interns into the show that kind of get into that, right? They love that technology part. And with us today is our own producer. You saw him earlier. Hey, producer, you're here for the summer. You're a young kid. How long you been here now?
As of today, I've been here for 2 weeks and a day. So
2 weeks and a day, Drive Safe Dave. And today would mark his first day that he overslept.
I knew that was going to come in. I knew you were. I said, I can't wait. I knew that was going to. I was holding tight.
Here I am, Dave. I'm just going to go a little old school. I'm 52-ish, and I may have overslept once or twice in my life, and I'm not calling sick. What can we do to help this young man, take the job a little serious, Dave? I mean, after 2 weeks, can you you imagine just
being late after 2 weeks?
Yeah, and it's not even it's just a text. Hey, overslept again, no big deal.
Yeah.
I'll be there when I get there.
Yeah. See you. And I know you're not counting on me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want you to think that what I do is important, or like that.
Hey, Rick, can you go ahead and get everything set up? I'm like, the producer's delegating to me all of a sudden, telling me what to do, Try Safe.
I know I walked by this morning and I saw the studio dark and I was like, he's going to get it.
So here we go. So talk to us, producer. I mean, do you have just one alarm set? Do you set two? Did you go out a little late last night?
Yeah, do you go to bed early?
So last night, actually went to Bible study. Got home about 9:30. Came home, was watching a movie, had an alarm set for... I set one at 5:15, 5:20, and 5:25, and just completely slept through it.
Through all three of them?
Yeah. My dad, I guess, he was getting up to go to work and saw my car was still there, and thank God he came up and woke me up. And so woke up at 6:30, and I was here. Or woke up about 6:26, and was here by 6:40.
Well, what's going to happen? I mean, I'm telling you, at some point, Dad's not going to be there.
Yeah,
at some
I'm not
point,
gonna sleep
you're going to
there
have
again.
to be out there on your own,
I'll set 5
having
now.
to get up and do that thing. I just want to make sure that you're thinking
What time
about
did you go to sleep?
that.
What time did you go to sleep?
Probably 12,
Okay.
15.
All right. So that's probably a good indicator. You think
I usually
that?
go to sleep at like 1 or 2.
Okay, so you don't think, what time are you trying to get up?
I get up at 5:15 usually.
Okay, so do you think anywhere, let me just ask, so is that 5-hour window, is that what you need for rest tonight to be ready, sharp, to be able to hear the alarm go off?
If I get 3 to 6, I'm usually
3 to 6. He's oversleeping.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Hey, Dad, thanks for waking him up.
Yeah,
you know
thank
what?
you.
A lot of
play
people
Reveille.
counting on him to be in here. Then I just wanted him to make sure he knows that Drive Safe Dave, that we all play important roles. And
Yeah.
I like the Jesus comment he made. You know what?
Bible study.
I was at Bible study all night. I was out doing God's work, Rick. I mean, what else do you want from me?
Yeah, wow. He threw that card, played that quick.
That was impressive. You know what? He's
Learning.
going to go places. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
He's going to go places.
Thank
Hey, listen, Drive Safe, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. Hopefully we have Ralph Furlong on.
yeah.
He's a fellow brother. You know, I got an email or a text from him today, and it came up as Sir Ralph Furlong.
No way.
Swear. A fellow brother, man. A fellow brother. You know what?
Oh, my God.
I'm honored to have you with us here, Ralph. We're going to take a quick break, maybe 2 breaks, as we try to go out there and find Sir Ralph. We'll be back in just a second.
This segment has been brought to you by Utility ProWear. Utility ProWear manufactures high-quality, ANSI-certified, high-visibility apparel for both men and women. Infused with a Teflon fabric protector, Utility ProWear gives you the added benefit of providing a barrier to liquids, dirt, and grime, keeping you cleaner longer, brighter longer, and therefore safer longer. Get your high-visibility apparel by going to utilityproware.com. Use the code BCB20 at checkout for an exclusive discount. This segment has been brought to you by Utility ProWear. Utility ProWear manufactures high-quality, ANSI-certified, high-visibility apparel for both men and women. Infused with the Teflon fabric protector, Utility ProWear affords the wearer durable clothing with a great fit to afford the highest degree of safety. Get your high-visibility apparel by going to utilityproware.com. Use the code BCB20 at checkout for an exclusive discount. This segment has been brought to you by Utility ProWear. Utility Pro Wear manufactures high quality, ANSI certified, high visibility apparel for both men and women. Infused with the Teflon fabric protector, Utility Pro Wear gives you the added benefit of providing a barrier to liquids, dirt, and grime, keeping you cleaner longer, brighter longer, and therefore safer longer. Get your high visibility apparel by going to utilityprowear.com. Use the code BCB20 at checkout for an exclusive discount.
Safety! 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 I was out on the highway just loving my job, feeling blessed with the presence. Buckle up, Bob. After this run, I'll get home to the ones I love. Drive safe days, got the passion to get the job done. Spreading the news, sharing their views. Solid as brick. Here comes Rick. You've been safety struck.
All right, and we are back. We're going through a couple of real quick technical difficulties, but before we go any further, I just want to remind everybody that as we talk about today and what we want to make sure that we believe in and understand, that today is Thankful Thursday, a celebration here at BCB Live, that we continue to celebrate today on a Thursday the things that make it important, and that is to recognize the true heroes out there on the road. You know, we mention it, we talk about it, and it has been something that we've done here a lot, and we continue to do it. We want to remember Thankful Thursday. We want to remember what it means and what it is, and that truly is understanding how important the sacrifices out there that the drivers make each and every day out there on the road, sometimes staying out weeks at a time or even a whole week at a time away from their families, what they do and how they do it. I'll tell you, having done it, it is a different world. It is a totally different lifestyle, and it is sometimes a genuine sacrifice being away from some of the small things that each family see. It's the birthdays and the anniversaries, school, baseball games, volleyball games, softball games, pageants, whatever. It is sometimes you miss some very, very important things, those sacrifices that you make out there on the road. So I just want to continue for everybody to find a way today, if you get a chance, if you're in this industry, I don't care if you're in the office, I don't care if you're an owner, I don't care if you're a person that works, a broker, I don't care. Find a way today, make it a little bit different today. Thank a driver, and just thank them for what they do. Appreciate them for how they do it, what they do for the industry, and how important they are in the functionality of it. You know, we talk a lot, we joke a lot around here, but I'm telling you, the seriousness is that these drivers are vital to the success of not only moving stuff across the country, but moving it safely. And we've got to back them, we've got to support them, we've got to continue to talk to them about it. And I'm telling you, right now, you have an opportunity today on Thankful Thursday. We sit here and we do it on a weekly basis to remind people and to remind ourselves how important their role is out there in trucking. And I hope today you find that moment. I hope today, whether you're a driver, if you're a driver yourself, thank you for what you do, but also find a moment to thank another driver for what they do. You know, it can be at the fuel island, it can be at the fuel stop, it can be anywhere that you do, or you have an opportunity to meet. Go out into the break room, go out into the area in which they work or where they're at or congregate. You know where it is, and if you're around this industry, you know where those drivers congregate, man, go be honest with them. Go find a moment to be real with them. Find a moment to shake their hand today and thank them for what they do. It's vital. It's imperative that we do to continue to give back. And you know what? It's okay. A pat on the back is important. A pat on the back to appreciate all that they do. I hope that you find that moment today. I hope you find a way to go into the break room today, to go into the thank you, Sir Rick.
I just like to show people examples of kindness and examples of what it looks like. A lot of this happens every day, Dave. When you think about patting on the back, when you think about exemplifying what it is to be a good friend, a good steward, a good example. It's a lot. When you walk into this office, you see a lot of that. It's a lot of good mornings. It's, hey, anything I can help you with, drive safe, Dave. You're a little sad. Can I talk to you? Can I be there? We want to do the same thing with the drivers. We want to be out there and open up to them, welcome them into our lives, Dave. And I just can't help but think a better example of what I do with you every day.
Wow. I'll tell you what, be better at it than that. I'm just going to say, find a way today to go out and say thank you for your service. And if you're a driver, you're sitting there at a fuel island, I'm not asking you to go up and scare the other driver, but I am asking you to say, hey driver, I appreciate what you do. It's a big deal. And let them know it's a big deal what they do. And tell them to stay safe out there on the road. It's vitally important that we continue to spread that message. Our message here has always been and will continue to always be about safety. Our message will always be about bringing that word, but also today on a Thursday, right, Sir Rick?
Yeah, love Thankful Thursday. One of my favorite days. Again, I know Drive Safe did it, but again, it's, for us, we've got to remember this. Listen, it's, in all of those in transportation itself, right? I mean, just such a dedicated group of people that truly have a work ethic like none other. These drivers, let me tell you, Dave, there's something pure about that driver. Let me tell you something, dispatchers, you know this, and I'm talking to the brokers. You want to know the truth, you ask the driver, right? Because they're going to come and tell you. You know what? The dispatcher's going to tell you.
You don't even have to ask
right around the corner. The driver's going to tell you, I'm still 2 hours out. What do you mean on that? They're the salt of the earth. Great people. What we want to do here is remind each and every one of us that, hey, we can continue to get better. You know what? Just because you as a driver are the very best, the best at what you do, Dave, part of what we try to do is share videos with them to make them better, to increase their skill level, to see what they can do a little better. Because one thing I think our industry can do better on is the following too close. Yep. One thing our industry can do better at is the speeding, especially in construction zones. And another thing we can do a little bit better, and Dave, that was the shirt you had on yesterday, is that seatbelt. We've got to make sure we're wearing those seatbelts all the time. We want to make sure that we're protecting our lives, your lives, to get you back home to those that love you.
Yeah, we talk about it, and you know what? You have an opportunity to improve your trade craft. You have an opportunity to be better. Look, I know you may have driven 25 years. You may be out there on the road, but it's ever changing, and you have a chance today to just be a little bit better than you were yesterday, no matter what it is you do, no matter what profession you're in. But I'm telling you, safety is so vital to the success of what you do here in this country. We have to find a way. I was looking at the numbers yesterday, and I know we had tragedy. We talked about it yesterday, and I was looking at the number of gun deaths and violence and perpetrated against it. It was around 14,000 upon one other. And then I looked at it and I said, and I thought about it a little bit, 45,000 people are killed out on the highways. Just an incredible number. I mean, and a number that we've got to find a way to solve this problem. And it is ever present in our lives. I mean, people are dying in all age groups out there on the highways, and we've got to find a way to slow it down. We've got to find a way to change it. And one person can make a difference today by their actions, by what they do, and by what they believe.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And you've got to be that person that makes that difference to go out there and to stand tall around higher than others and bring them up to your level. Dave, so many times in sports we see that is that some teams play down to the level of their competition. We're asking you to stay on that level and bring others up with it, up to your level. It's what you do. Remember, you're the Class A. You're the best of the best. we've got to make sure that we're being that person all the time. I know that's asking a lot. Dadgummit, Dave, they're out there driving for so long. We're asking them to stay, pay attention the whole time, to stay off them phones, to keep those distractions away. And I want you to hear, you know what? It's kind of like what Dr. Mark Monera said. We're not, if you find yourself on the phone, hey, just get off of it for a minute. Reduce it. You know what? Anything you can reduce that down to, you stand a better chance of being more alert throughout the trip. If you can reduce that right now, then later on, take a next step and just start cutting it out a little bit more. You've got to recognize when you're being unsafe. And I'm not giving you the okay, and I can hear safety guys, no, you can't say that. You know what, I'm being real. I'm not saying it's ever okay to be on that phone. It's not okay to, and just like I can tell you, it's not okay to have those distractions. Get rid of those distractions in your head. How do you do that, Dave? How do you do that when you're just pissed off that you've been at that shipping dock for 8 hours watching everybody else get loaded? You're missing a pallet because production, and you're the one that's sitting there. Hey, I need that distraction out of your head.
It's not possible.
It's not possible.
It's very real.
It's so real. What I want you to do when that happens is to recognize, you know what? Right now, I am not in a good place. Right now, my patients are pushed. You know what? I am done. I'm out. I want you to recognize that. So maybe you'd have to take another 10-hour break. Maybe you sit there another 6 hours, 3 hours. Now you just say, you know what? I'm not in that spot to drive. And, I want you to do that. That's what I want. I want you to recognize when those distractions are there and then address them. Pull off the road. You're mad. Get off the road. Get that Pepsi and the hot dog like Drive Safe Dave pushes on each and every one of us. Do that part. Eat that hot dog without the bun. But, Drive Safe, I just think there's so much there that we I just think that recognizing situations such as following too close, such as speeding, such as not having your seatbelt on, driving too fast in the construction zone, I'm mad, I'm angry, I'm sad, all these things are critical for you to recognize it, so then you have that ability to do the action required.
Yeah, and I just keep it in, we always talk in trucking, we get on the CB, we talk, about keeping it within the white lines, keeping it running down each lane and making sure that you're staying in your lane. And really, there's more to it than just the physical truck being in the lane. It has a lot to do with you being in the lane, and it has a lot to do with you being there and being able to do it in the lane that you're doing it in. And Rick talks about the distractions. They're very real. I mean, we have life gets in the way of everybody's job, right? But I'll tell you the difference between sitting behind the desk and sitting in the truck seat is that you're traveling at a high rate of speed in a missile at 80,000 pounds. You have the opportunity and you have the opportunity to do one of two things, and that is either to do it the right way or to make a mistake and somebody pay the ultimate price for it. So you have those choices. If you're at a desk, you might bump your head when you fall asleep, or you might fall back in your chair. You might do those kinds of things. But I'm telling you, that seat, that truck driver's chair, that chair there is very, very important. And I think I'm going to call out everybody today to support drivers in those moments and in those times. If you're a dispatcher or you're a broker or you're somebody communicating with a driver and you sense something is wrong, if you know what I'm talking about. Each of us have been in this industry long enough to understand if you sense something wrong in the driver, if you sense something there, it's time to say something at that moment. Don't wait. Don't let it go. It is your responsibility. Don't think it isn't. Don't think, well, it's the driver's decision. Yeah, it is the driver's decision, but I'll tell you what it is. Your responsibility is to help. Find a moment to help.
I'm going to give you an example of that. So when you're a dispatcher on the brokerage side and you get that phone call, you get that last minute load covered. Somebody fell off at 18 times, Dave, and here it is. It's 5:30 at night.
Right.
This load's supposed to pick up at 6 and deliver at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and it's 700 miles away. You get that driver that gets it up, says, oh, yeah, I can make it. Let me tell you something. You're setting them up to fail. By you being happy and thinking that they're going to be, oh, I got it covered, all you're doing is getting a load covered. The driver's not going to make it by 8 o'clock in the morning. Understand, your hours. Understand what they really can and can't do. The odds are they're not 30 minutes away from the pickup. They're going to have to get fuel, all these things. How about you set them up for success? How about you say this, hey, listen, I know you're going to get this load. This load delivers at 8. Listen, I know the receiver. Hey, I'll call you in the morning and we'll get a good ETA. And if it has to be 3 in the afternoon, it's 3 in the afternoon. Give that driver that expectation that it's okay to just drive safely and get it there. Don't put them under the gun. Don't say, you know what? I got a $200 bonus if you can make it there on time. What? That's the wrong thing to say. You can't do it. And also, by the way, it's illegal. Coercion. Understand your jobs. Understand the laws. What you have. I think we have Ralph Furlong with us, and we're going to see if we can get my fellow brother in arms. Sir Ralph Furlong. Sir Ralph Furlong.
There he
welcome to
is.
BCB Live.
What's up, Ralph?
How you guys doing today?
Man, I'm doing great, Sir Ralph. Glad to have you here. And you know what? It's good to have another knighted fellow here with me. You know what? It gets lonely being a Sir Ralph.
So what is this? What is this Sir thing that you got going on, Ralph? I'm just trying to understand it. What is this all about? I'm trying to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Where did you get the knighthood?
I'll tell you what happened to me when I got that knighthood in Panama. When I was working with all my workers in Panama, they would say, Señor Ralph, Señor Ralph, Señor Ralph. So I ended up picking up Sir Ralph throughout everything. So instead of saying, I kept telling them, my name is Ralph, not Señor Ralph. But they kept telling me, so I got Sir Ralph. I got knighted by my own workers. Yes.
Okay, I got you. No, that's a good story, man. That's a great story.
Yes.
So, all right. So, what are you working on lately? I know Rick's probably talked to you a lot. I haven't talked to you in a while. So, what are you working on lately?
Well, I'm still over here in Wesley Chapel building some homes. I got about 64, 65 homes that I'm building, every day. So I'm overseeing that, and I'm also consulting a lot in the private sector. I get offers to go into different types of construction consulting. I get some pest control consulting. I also am getting some. Still of the pandemic famous virus consulting. This is right now we're still in it. Some of the post type of issues that some of the companies are having. They're asking, we can still go back to work. What is still required of us? How do we still control this? So I'm still helping a lot of companies out. They're emailing me, and I'm doing it. In the evenings. I'm doing it sometimes during the day when I can to help. And, it falls back onto, the culture. Now, everybody that is involved, that has been affected with this, it's global. And not only is it, pretty much global, it's affected people's lives like they have never seen before. And most people now, as you guys have noticed, think that it's over. It's not over. We're still in it. We still have a lot of cases, and we still have to go forward and try to protect ourselves and prevent more than anything. So I still tell the guys, hey, look, we still have to wash our hands. We still have to protect ourselves. We have to stay distant from each other as much as we can and avoid crowds as much as possible. But as humans, as we are, we don't want to do that. We want to be able to get together. Look at this guy.
This guy.
You know what? You talk about COVID. This is walking COVID right here. He's super spreader, Ralph. He's super spreader. That's his nickname on that. Hey, Ralph, what do you see out there when you're out there at the job site? You're doing consulting. Hey, what are some of the top 10 or some of the top violations or safety concerns you see out there?
Well, you figure number one worldwide, falls. Falls are number one worldwide, no matter where you live, no matter where you work, anywhere in the world. And I have seen that falls is number one. Even in the trucking industry, you're in the back of the truck, you're opening the back. What risk do you have? You have a risk of falling. You have a risk of falling when you get out of your truck. So number one basically is falls. Number two, we used to see hazardous communication, basically, being in the number two realm in the last few years. However, since COVID came in and since we've had to practice pretty much our PPEs, respiratory protection, number two going forward here. And that's something that we thought that we never see, approached falls, but respiratory protection is number two. Number three, as you consider, in falls is ladders. Ladders is number three in incidents and also in all the all the citations that's happened. Number 4, another fall preventive measure is scaffolding. So in the construction industry, scaffolding is also number 4 in the top 10s of all the citations. Number 5, we talk about hazard communications. Now, hazard communication basically talks about all the chemicals and all the stuff that it entails. It used to be number 2 a few years ago, and it was consistent. However, due to COVID, we have dropped down to number 5. Number 6 in the top 10 of citations is lockout tag out. And we realize now, as far as one of the most important things that we try to push is training. You know, if you don't get the proper training on how to do a lockout tag out for any type of electrical or any type of boxes that you're using, that's going to be an effective measure to be able to do a citation against that. Number 7, again, back to fall protection, but this time it's training. What does that mean? Lack of training or not the proper training. So, you know, you're looking at in the top 10, you're already seeing a lot of falls issues in these realms. Number 8, PPE, what we have on, you know, what we don't use. So, you know, you're out there and doing some traffic work, you're in regular clothing, you don't have high-vis clothing, that's the violation that we're looking at. Number 9, PITs. What are PITs now? Powered industrial trucks, or as we call them now, forklifts. You know, it used to be called forklifts, but now it's PITs, and that's like number 9 on the list of citations. And the last one is machine guarding. I go to all these job sites, and the very first thing I see the roofers on the job. Right away, I go to their equipment, and what do I see on their equipment? And I ask them, I go, hey, what's going on right here? Oh, the little starter pull rope fell off. So now I've got to wind it with a rope, and I have to take the guard off. So those are the things in the top 10 world that I'm seeing as far as citations, and we live it every day.
Man, so much of that, Ralph, that you talked on there's a lot. I heard training in there multiple times, you know, training. And that kind of goes to the culture of a company. When you're out there and you're doing this, Ralph, I mean, how do we get more people to believe in the training, more people to believe in the culture of you know, that all of this that the safety entails, right? What are some ideas to make us a little better to get folks like Drive Safety, to get these folks that are leading our companies, the workers, you know, the supervisors, how do we get them involved on the importance of that?
One of the key factors that I've learned to use is dealing and saying and talking to them about their family. You know, how would your family react if they came out here to a job site and saw you not practicing safe work practices? You know, how would you feel and how would they feel? You know, this is something that they need to learn from the home all the way to the job site. You can train a lot of the people to do the right things. However, it's how they apply it at the job site. And you know, and a lot of the issues now that we've seen a lot is language barrier. A lot of the workers that are doing at the job site, they speak Spanish. So for a lot of the people that show up and can't, and the language barrier is a problem, we go back to that part of talking about families. Now, you can definitely find one of the leaders that are within the group to talk to them about it, stress about the safety of how they're supposed to work, and then that person in itself translates it to them. But in other realms too, hey, you can't do the training all the time to these people, but you can take some time to do it when they're at lunch. You know, there is lunch times where I don't even take a lunch, and I take the advantage of seeing these guys when they're down and they're on their break, and I go speak to them about it because we can't do it during the morning because they're busy. We can't do it in the afternoon. But here I take my time to take my time off for lunch, go to them, talk to them a little bit about safety, even if it takes, you know, 3 to 4 minutes, but getting the word out there helps. As much as I can help with the workers to try to get them to know the culture of safety, it helps in the long run for them.
Ralph, I like that dedication to that. I'm going to ask one more thing on this. So what about the the managers, the supervisors, the foremen that sometimes take that blind eye to safety? In our industry, we see it from the dispatch side perhaps, or from a broker, somebody talking to a driver where they hear something that sounds unsafe and yet they don't do anything about it. What are some ideas on that? I mean, seriously, how do we get the foreman, the front line people to have that same passion for safety that you have?
You know, what I have noticed is I've gone to some of the job sites where when I show up, and even if the person is identical to what the job that I do, they go back to me and ask me, look, you know, we're here working. We know that you're probably a little bit more advanced on the safety part of it. Can you help and relate what we want to know? So I basically bring them front, and I've done this before. I've had meetings where I've had the managers on site, I've had the supervisors on site, and then I put them in front and I ask them the question. I know the worker is getting this, we're having the 7-minute quick talk, but now I go back to the manager and ask them, you know, here you are, we're talking about a fall protection type of a quick 7-minute rundown. What can you tell me about that? What do you know about it? So now it goes back to that manager that's at the site now and the supervisor, and basically they'll start, you know, relaying it in a little bit and saying that, you know, this is something that we from the top have to realize that we have to start from here and then bring it all the way down. And it does have to start from the top. And a lot of the presidents of the companies will tell me, you know, Ralph, we love what you're doing. We know that you're out there passionate for it. And we know that the people there pretty much listen. So as long as the people can listen and as long as you can push that issue, I know they can be better at their work.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
man. Hey, Ralph, you know, you talk about the passion and the safety, and I dig it. Isn't it, haven't you found as you've gone out, and I like, to me, it's most important, haven't you found out once you start bringing the safety to the people, the majority want the information. The majority want to be safe. They're really, once they start to learn about it, it becomes almost infectious. Don't you believe that, Ralph?
I do, and you know, we just had our stand down campaign a month ago or so. So basically, I reached out to OSHA. They sent me a bunch of information in Spanish and English, and I was out on the job site handing out these stickers for all these guys for their hard hats. All of a sudden, a lot of other people came and said, hey, what's going on? What is this? And they wanted to know. They asked about it. And then I ended up giving a lot more stickers than I anticipated. I gave out little pamphlets of information. And you know what they said to me? Thank you. And it's hard for the worker to say thank you to somebody when basically they never get this type of, you know, talk. But when they do see some activity and they see some stuff like this, they love it and they say thank you. And that's a reward for me.
I love that stuff. Hey, Ralph, I want to thank you for being on BCB Live. Before we let you go, though, Ralph, you're going to have to say your name. And I want you to say, hey, I'm Ralph. I'm Sir Ralph, safety guru, safety expert, and you're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. And, Ralph, can you do that in Spanish as well?
My name is Ralph Furlong. I am the safety guru. BCB Live is the safest station in the nation. BCB Live es la más segura estación en la nación.
Love it, baby. Thank you, Ralph. Thanks for all you do. And if anytime you need anything, safety side, you need a little help, you need us to go live and talk to the folks as well, we're there. We're there for safety no matter what. God bless you, Ralph. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks, Ralph.
All right, Drive Safe Dave, another interview. You know,
Safety guy. That guy,
another
solid.
safety guy. Let me tell you something.
Solid.
You know, we just had last week. We were going over some ladders, some falling, and I said, you know what? This is for him, right? You know,
Yeah.
I got a guy for you. So here we go. We're going to take a quick break. We got Dale waiting impatiently over there. You see him twitching?
Yeah,
and
got
he's like, what's
he even
going
got
on?
I think he even got like a weird chill.
I saw it too.
Because he was like,
I
hey,
didn't know
I
what it
should
was.
be on. I should be. There's something happening. I'm getting DTs over here.
I saw the same thing. He's coming up next. So listen, all you Double Check Dale fans, have no fear. Weather is next on BCB Live, the safest
This
station
segment
in
has
the
been
nation.
brought to you by Utility ProWear. Utility ProWear manufactures high-quality, ANSI-certified, high-visibility apparel for both men and women. Infused with the Teflon fabric protector, Utility ProWear affords the wearer durable clothing with a great fit to afford the highest degree of safety. Get your high-visibility apparel by going to utilityproware.com. Use the code BCB20 at checkout for an exclusive discount.
Hey, welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. You got Double Check Dale here. We're going to talk a little bit about weather and a little bit about some fires going on out there. Hey, currently, some thunderstorms, some pretty severe storms going on down in Alabama, stretching up into central Tennessee, up into southern Indiana. That one that's in Kentucky and Indiana, very strong cells with that, strong winds associated with it. There could be some tornadoes, so be very, very aware of that. That's all the way up through Alabama, central Tennessee, eastern Kentucky, western Kentucky, and central Indiana. As we kick this on today, it's going to be a very, lots of storms going on across the central and eastern part of the United States. We get into the afternoon hours. Those thunderstorms that are in Alabama and Georgia still there, just moving a little bit to the east. Now the storms in Tennessee are a little bit further east, and it's getting part of South Carolina and part of North Carolina, Missouri, Missouri and Iowa, eastern Iowa, northern Indiana, excuse me, sorry about that, Illinois, all having some thunderstorms this afternoon also. And as we get into those evening hours, the storms really intensify in eastern Kentucky, right through that Lexington area, up through northern Georgia. Going to see a lot of thunderstorms, a lot of action there, a lot of winds associated with that. We'll take a quick look at the winds, and not a lot going on. Later this afternoon, you're going to see those strong winds in parts where, we just talked about where there's going to be the thunderstorms. So a lot of winds associated with those thunderstorms. Be very aware of that. If you're driving into an area where some storms are going on, park up if they're going to get severe. Lots of tornadoes associated with it. So the winds this afternoon, Oklahoma, Arkansas, northern Mississippi, Tennessee, Illinois, but again, mostly in the areas where those storms are going on. As far as wildfires go, there's still quite a few of them going on out there. That black fire up in Consequences, New Mexico, they gained a little bit on the containment, but it's got 172,000 acres burned already. The mesquite fire here in Abilene, Texas, southwest of Abilene, is now 74% contained, so they're making some headway on there. They gained almost 10% on the containment yesterday. So hopefully pretty soon, they'll have that one fully contained. But, don't drive into the smoke, okay? If you see a fire, you see smoke, don't drive into it. You never know how close those flames are, and flames and fire consume. And so with that, we're going to take a short break on this Thankful Thursday, come back and talk some safety.
This segment has been brought to you by Utility ProWear. Utility ProWear manufactures high-quality, ANSI-certified, high-visibility apparel for both men and women. Infused with the Teflon fabric protector, Utility ProWear gives you the added benefit of providing a barrier to liquids, dirt, and grime, keeping you cleaner longer, brighter longer, and therefore safer longer. Get your high-visibility apparel by going to utilityproware.com. Use the code BCB20 at checkout for an exclusive discount.
Welcome back to BCB Live, safest station in the nation. During that little break we get here when Double Check Dale comes up and does the weather, I get my fan letters, my fan emails, and don't forget, hey, listen, you want to reach out to me, it's rick.larkin@bcblive.tv. You can email us at the info@bcblive.tv as well, studio@bcblive.tv. You can comment on YouTube, you can comment on LinkedIn. I get these messages, much like Santa, I get the letters from my little elves. They bring them up to me and I got one that really intrigued me today, and it was from one of the listeners. I want to thank you for making comments on it. And it said, next, Heel, and we're talking about him, he'll be asking for a vacation. Talking about, the producer, asking, do I get my 3 weeks vacation and all of that? Ran late today, a week and a half into his job, Dave, or 2 weeks, whatever. He rounded up, I think.
Yeah, it's about, his 11th day
Yes.
on the job, and he's already wanting to know about paid holidays. He's always wanting to know about what are the paid holidays. Memorial Day, do I have to be here? Am I getting paid?
They got grandfathered in on any of these things,
I was like, what?
It's
What?
it's that new age, Dale.
It is a different mindset. But
Different mindset. You owe me.
No,
You owe me.
after yesterday, I just want to hear about the 401k y'all are giving me.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. 401k. What's up with that match, guys?
Most people ask before they start the job. You know what it is? Not 11 days into it. So just saying.
I know, baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. What do we got going on today, sir?
We've been talking about the realities of fatalities and truck accidents and deaths, and not a pleasant subject, but it happens. It happens every day. There are deaths on the road every day in Texas since November 7th, 2020, is it? Death every day. So, time does matter. Most of your accidents, this will come as no surprise, most fatal accidents happen during the daytime. In fact, if you're involved in a fatal accident in a truck, 65% of the time it's during the daytime, so that leaves about 37% of the time it's at night. So, just have to remember, there's more traffic during the day, just got to be safer during the day. Take all the right steps to keep yourself safe out there.
That one right there, let me tell you something. That was the weirdest headshot ever. I didn't know. I thought you were in jail. I was waiting for you to turn around to the side and give us a side view.
I was hoping. I kept leaning forward in my chair, trying to look over the edge.
Oh, that comes next week. You know what, baby steps. Baby steps on that.
I didn't
Heck
want
of
to
a
push it
shot
back
there,
immediately.
producer. I want to make sure we give credit where credit due. Hey, great angle there. I never thought about that angle.
And by the way, it's okay to correct the shot if it's bad. I know you don't want to make it look like you're great, but if it's bad, go ahead and correct it.
Hey, I got talked to last week after I did that mid shot. So
Mess with the producer, he'll mess with us.
You know what? I
Oh, my
know.
God.
I always tell that to people. One thing, so for a recruiting department, when recruiters come to you and they say, you know what, I don't know, you think I should hire? I said, if you question, the answer is no. Producer, from the back right there, if you're wondering if it's a bad shot, it is. It just is. Go with your gut. Oh man, you know what? But he overslept today, folks.
Oh yeah, he's not ready.
You know what? He's run a little behind. Give him some break. You know what? Can we go to a few videos?
Yeah,
Let's look some
Let's do some
videos.
videos.
well, this video is called.
Don't be ready.
Should I stay or should I go?
Oh, should I stay or should I go?
Truck here is shot. Car in the turn lane, not in the turn lane, but the driver does a great thing, backing off, giving them the space, letting the car decide in the end, hey, which lane am I going to use here? And so just a great shot of a polite, courteous driver, seeing what's going on and giving the four-wheeler ahead of him the space that he needs.
Yeah. Plenty of space, giving him the room. Great job on that. Phenomenal job. Way to practice your patience. What else we got?
The slalom is not safe.
Don't like this at all.
We're talking about packing the patience. The speed is down here. It's rainy weather, road conditions, and everything. But this truck's going to start to exit. Instead of just slowing down and packing our patience, we just make that quick lane change. Dave taught me that word yesterday, slalom, and comes right back over into the driving lane. Hey, driver, just slow down, pack your patience. Let them get out of your way instead of doing that lane change. You got a couple blind spots there. You got weather, and so people may try sliding alongside. So just back it off a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you. So there's videos that we watch on here, and we watch and together. And this is one that's kind of near and dear to my heart. It really does. It hurts. And Dave and Dale, listen, I get that, these drivers are driving, for a lot of them, 3, 4, 5, 600 miles a day, 700 miles a day sometimes. That they're going to come across situations when they're in bad weather, inclement weather. But this just isn't a move that you do. These are the habits that, folks, I'm just telling you, we've got to break on these habits. Number one, you got to understand your situational awareness, that you're in a bad area right now. There's rain coming down. Visibility has been reduced as well. There is traffic out there. You know what? To do this, you're following too close. Perhaps going too fast for the situation you're in. Nothing's going to hurt you to go a little slower through this. And to get out of this lane and back in it, to jump around lanes like we did, David, these do cause accidents. And these are the moves that I know they're just bad habits. And the truck, and here's the deal, the big truck, it goes to the right? I mean, in front of this truck here, it exits off, and it seems, but it's just too quick, and it's something these are habits we've got to find a way to break.
You know, I'll tell you another thing in these heavy rain situations, these slick moments like this, when you perform these maneuvers and you have to hit the brake in these maneuvers, I guarantee you that trailer's coming around. It's going to jackknife on you, and you know the best way to control that trailer is having it directly behind you at all times.
And listen, when we're in weather like this, you know, and it happens, snow, ice, rain, all of that does happen, hot weather. Again, it goes to the importance of a pre-trip or post-trip, Dave, or a pre-trip for this case right here, is that if you didn't do a pre-trip, you really don't even know what you're working with. You don't know, are your brakes even, do you have the brakes you need? Do you have the tread on the truck or the trailer? There's so many things you've got to be aware of. And let me tell you, pre-trips are so important because of situations like this. You don't know what you're going into, and you've got to know your equipment's able to run through these kinds of weather safely.
Yep. And, you know, we'll talk about another thing, reduced visibility. Most states have laws where if it's raining, your wipers are on, your lights are supposed to be on, but how many times do we see vehicles without their lights on? And so you can't see them near as well. You make that lane change, you got that blind spot, and they're dark, and so you just have to be aware of that.
Yeah, I mean, these lights are on, and they're not easy to see. You know, when that rain happens and the visibility is coming down, let me tell you, you've got to slow it down.
Absolutely.
That almost rhymed right there. I think that's our phrase that pays for next week. What else we got?
Next, we have multi-lane change and tailgating.
Yeah, I mean, we're tooling right along, and the driver recognizes something's happening up in front of him, and so he makes that quick lane change where right now we're in a tailgating, doesn't control his lane at all, and goes over one more lane. It's just, again, it's habits. We see something happening, quick lane changes, own that lane before you go over the next one, back off a little bit so we make sure we know what's coming alongside of us.
Talk to me on this, guys. I mean,
I'll tell you right now.
This is where I just say, and I get it, there's only 1 million drivers out there, and we're not going to change everybody, but once again, Dave, this is near and dear to my heart. This is just a habit we've got to find a way to stop.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, and I'm going to just go from the point. First point is because of the lane you're in and what you see ahead of you, there is no way you can see what's in that hammer lane. You can't see what's out there. I know you got a car on your left moving up, but you can't see what he sees. You don't know if he's moving into a bad situation either, because they're completely blocked by the big trucks that are in front of you, and you wheel around them like this in a maneuver that's dangerous. Number one, you're putting yourself in a bad position right here. Why would you ever want to be this close to a vehicle at any time?
Yeah, Dale, you spend your real job right outside of when you're doing the weather and traffic and these things right here, talking to drivers. When you talk to drivers that do moves like this, I mean, what do you tend to hear on that?
Well, typically here, I thought, here's double check, or Bob say, I thought I could make it, or I thought I was further away than that. And a lot of times, like I said, it's habits. Until they see it, until they look at the video, they don't really understand or realize how close they were.
I got it. And that's why we show these videos. And I'm going to tell you, I believe that. I just think when you're out there, you're doing things that just doesn't seem that far sometimes. And that's the importance of technology. That's the importance of reviewing your own film, watching other film to see some of these things so you can make a safer decision.
I can tell you right now, the driver, once he's starting to commit to go over these lanes, he's looking out the back. He's looking at those two lanes. He's not paying attention to what's going on in front because he's crossing 2 lanes of traffic. He's got his eyes back like this because he's wanting to make sure there's nobody back there.
I thought this, it's funny you bring that up because yesterday, the day before, I was passing. It was a weird pass that I had, and I caught myself, just like you're saying, I was looking, to the lanes.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, there's no chance that I'm really focusing what's ahead of me.
No way.
And Dave, you bring up a phenomenal point because there's no chance that right now you're looking and making sure that those next 2 lanes you're able to pass. You don't know what that tanker's going to do. Nope. I mean, your full focus can't be on the tanker. It's got to be on the 2 lanes you're moving over in.
100%.
Wow. Yeah. Ugh. Habits, folks.
Next, we gotta have an out.
So this again is tailgating. Just look at this. We're probably within a half second there. There is no out here. Jersey walls on both sides, and you got vehicles too close in front of you. Pack your patience. I mean, this is just another one where we gotta say, just slow down, get away, own that space in front of you.
1001. And I'm counting fast to get to 1,001.
You can't.
I can't do it.
You can't.
I get to what? Maybe what? You're too close on these things right here. You see it right here. You're going 58, 60 miles an hour. I can tell you this is that technology is probably also reminding you that you're too close.
Yep.
And we just have to back it down. And Dave yesterday walking around the the office on the trucking side, I heard it made mention, but you know what? They keep telling us to back it down. How are we going to make up for that time? And I think this is a good example of that, is that perception is if I slow it down to 55, I get that space correct, that I'm losing time.
Yeah, you're losing time. If you went 55 for the entire hour, you're only losing 5 minutes for the entire hour. But what you really want to focus on here is this construction zone is not an hour long. This construction zone, this moment you're in this time right now, you have to react accordingly. We talk about it all the time. You got a merge point here. You got Jersey walls here. You got traffic that's pretty thick. Everybody's running too close. You've got to recognize what you're in, understand the moment that you have, and then change it accordingly. You know what? If you just backed it off a couple of miles an hour, you don't even have to go 5. If you went 2 miles an hour slower, they're going to pull away from you. Everybody's going to pull away from you, and you're not going to block traffic. But what you are going to do is you're going to create that definite space in front of you.
All right. Next one.
Getting closer is not the right answer.
So again, we're going to talk about tailgating, and we see the distance close here. I mean, you can't push them. It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't make them go faster, folks. I mean, just back off. It just got to slow it down and give them that space, and everybody will get past. There's a lot of tailgating going on here, and it does not make them go faster. They can't go faster because the traffic ahead of them is slowing them down. So what good does it do to crowd them?
Next, we got back off or change your lane. Or maybe do both.
Yeah, I mean, right here, it looks like we have some pretty wide lanes to both of us. We're following too close. So either we got a choice to make. Either we back off and create the space in front of us, or we do a safe lane change. I mean, but just get yourself out of that situation of being too close to the vehicle ahead of you.
Yeah, you're going to find yourself in these situations.
All the time.
And again, the important thing is that you start backing out of these things. Recognize that you're too close, recognize it, and then do the action and back off a little bit. Nothing crazy, Dave. These are all just habits that can be fixed.
Next, we got bad following distance with no out.
Again, we're in a similar situation. We're too close. There's no outs because of the Jersey walls and everything. The first sign we saw was, there's a lane shift. So there's a lot going on. We just have to have that space, speed and space management. So when the lane change happens or whatever else goes wrong happens out there, we have plenty of space, plenty of time to react.
Last video is called "Just Have to Increase the Space and the Voice Will Go Away."
Yeah, I mean, we talk a lot. Well, the new technology, the truck is screaming at me, Samsara's screaming at me, keep trucking, stalking me, whatever it is. But if you just back off and create the space, it stops talking to you. That's what it wants. It's coaching you. It's telling you, hey, do this, and it goes, and then the voice goes away.
Yes, and again, I'm going to keep reminding you to change that voice to where you hear it from. It's trying to get you home safe. That's all it's doing. It's reminding you that you're in an unsafe situation, to perhaps back off, reduce your speed. All it wants you to do is get home safe. And that's all we want you to do, is to make it back home safe. Embrace it. I know it's a challenge. I know it's different. I know many of you don't need to be reminded. But you know what? When it's too late, it's too late. There's nothing we can do at that point. We want you back home. The love that this community, the love that your trucking companies, the love that your families have for you, it's critical. Your friends, I'm telling you, folks, love life. And sometimes that means we have to change what we do. We've got to change our habits. We've got to continue to improve on them. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying that we love you that much that we want you to make that change. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for these heroes that you've given us. We ask that you find a way for us to make a bigger impact into this country, to reach out to more folks. We ask that for that success of all that we do, not for us, but to find a way into the heart and the soul of this trucking community so we can get them home safe. Ask the blessing for them, Lord, as they go through so many struggles and the struggles from shipping, receiving, from their dispatchers, from family, from all of these things that has to go through their mind, that you somehow free them up a little bit, free their minds up and help them, take control of that will when you need to do it to keep them safe. We love you, Lord. We thank you for all that you do, all that you are. It's in your son's name we pray. Amen. Everybody, we'll see you tomorrow morning on BCB Live. You know what? We are
the safest station in the nation.